The Tennessee Titans make the big move we've been big move we all been waiting for. I'm so excited I can barely speak. My instant reaction to Tyler Boyd signing with the Titans on a live edition of the Locked On Titans podcast.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's live reaction of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. I could barely even talk in the intro because I am so excited about this move. We talked about it at the end of last week. I told you what my expectation was. This move was going to happen, and here we are. Tyler Boyd signing with the Tennessee Titans, a one-year deal up to $4.5 million. What an incredible bargain for the Titans as well. We're going to dive into all of the excitement with this move. Before we do, thank you for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen each and every day, Monday through Friday. Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. You're not going to beat that anywhere else. There's a reason. This is the number one Tennessee Titans podcast in the world. Make sure you get subscribed, stay subscribed. Shout out to my everydayers out there and throw a thumbs up on the video. I'm going live in the middle of the day to break down the news. The show is always free all year long. All I ask for in return is a couple clicks of a button. What an incredible move by Rand Carthon to get this done, to bring in Tyler Boyd. And we talked about this on yesterday's show, that the Zay Jones visit could just be a negotiating tactic to get Tyler Boyd to accept the contract that the Titans have on the table. And that is exactly how things look right now. I mean, when you look at Tyler Boyd's fit for the Tennessee Titans within this offense, it's exactly what the Titans needed. You had DeAndre Hopkins outside as your X receiver. You have Calvin Ridley as your speed move receiver in the Z spot. The Titans needed a slot wide receiver desperately, and especially when you consider Brian Callahan's offense and the reliance on 3 wide receiver sets and 11 personnel, it made the need for that big physical slot receiver so much more important. And again, a one-year deal up to $4.5 million. And I put the emphasis on up to right there because the reality is this is probably $3 million guaranteed with incentives that can bring Tyler Boyd up to that $4.5 million mark. So excellent stuff here for the Titans to get Tyler Boyd, a move that they needed to make. And since he took his visit last week, I found it interesting that once Tyler Boyd didn't sign and there were reports Tyler Boyd's left the building without a deal, I had a bunch of people tagging me, telling me, hey, you spoke too soon. This isn't going to happen. He left with... I tried to tell you guys the very next day. My expectation wasn't that Tyler Boyd was going to sleep on a cot, sleep on a blanket pallet at the Titans facility and not leave and stay captive until the Titans got a deal done. Here is the way it works. Tyler Boyd came in for a visit, met with the coaches, met with some teammates, learned what this role would be. Hey, here's how we want to use you. Here's how we think you fit with this franchise. Here's how we think you fit within this offense. And then after Tyler Boyd is like, yep, I like this. And the Titans are like, yep, we like you. Then the player leaves and the agent and the cap people for the Titans, Vin Marino, Chad Brinker and his squad, then they get to work on the money. So Tyler Boyd leaving without a deal was never a fearful thing for me. It was never a concern thing for me. And this is exactly why. This is exactly why. All right. So absolutely fantastic move for the Titans to get Tyler Boyd, who, 29 years old. And look, is Tyler Boyd in his prime? No, that is not the case. He's not in his prime. But they don't need their third wide receiver to be in their prime. I mean, last year, Tyler Boyd had 67 catches for 667 yards and 2 touchdowns. Is that Is that okay to be your third wide receiver? Because that's pretty good third wide receiver production, if you ask me. I mean, and the years before that, 762 yards, 5 touchdowns, 828 yards, 5 touchdowns in 2021. I mean, this is a guy who has been consistently productive every single year of his career. Literally consistently productive and reliable. 16 games, 10 games, 14, 16, 15, 16, 16, 17. This is a guy who's out there on the field. He plays. And when you worry about third wide receiver, Treylon Burks, can't count on Treylon Burks. Kyle Phillips, can't count on Kyle Phillips. And these are not guys. Treylon Burks doesn't have the quickness to fit in the slot. Kyle Phillips doesn't have the physicality and the size to fit in the slot in this offense, okay? In this offense. It doesn't make as much sense. So to go out there and get 6'2", 200 pounds, reliable, durable, knows the offense, knows Brian Callahan, understands the expectations, knows what his role is going to be and where he's going to shine, absolutely imperative. Absolutely imperative that the Titans went out and got this done. We talked about it on yesterday's show when I broke down the tail of the tape. Do you want Zay Jones? Do you want Tyler Boyd? For me, it was always Tyler Boyd. He was the cleanest fit. He made the most sense within the offense. He's a better player for what the Titans need. And that's what's most important. So you combine the connection with the coach. You combine his fit within the team. You combine the price, 1 year, $4.5 million, and it's up to $4.5 million. So the deal in itself isn't even $4.5 million. But to get Tyler Boyd with all of those things that I just talked about, and let's call it what it is, Tyler Boyd is a better football player than Zay Jones is right now. Okay? So you get a better football player who's a better fit at a contract price under $5 million. Let Rand cook. I mean, my big takeaway here is to go from DeAndre Hopkins, Nicholas Westbrook-Ikhine, and Treylon Burks as your top 3 receivers, to go to DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, and Tyler Boyd. You took the number 1 receiver off your division rival. You took the number 3 receiver from your previous coach's spot, and you put him with DeAndre Hopkins, who was already a 1,000-yard receiver for the Titans last year in their offense. I mean, it's no wonder that we got fans of other teams in shambles in the chat right now. In shambles. Look what the Titans have done with their wide receiver group. To flip that from what it was last year and the big issue that it was going into this offseason, to take what we thought this wide receiver position was going to be and flip it into what it is now. Again, let Rand cook. Okay? Let Rand cook. What an incredible transformation this offseason. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to think that the Titans have ended up with what may be a top 5 wide receiver trio in the entire NFL. We're going to continue breaking down the news. So much more reaction coming your way on the Tyler Boyd signing. Rand Carthon's cooking. Tyler Boyd is a Titan. We're going to continue breaking it down. Before we get into it, though, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. All right, guys. It's playoff time. NBA, NHL, winner take all. And FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. You can bet on Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves smoking that Nuggets pack, baby. Yes, I'm enjoying that as a salty Lakers fan. 100% enjoying that. I know the Preds are out of the playoffs, but a lot of you hockey folks from Nashville can get in on some of these playoff bets. it is the perfect time. Again, visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. It's FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Titans fans, let's continue today's instant live reaction to the Tyler Boyd signing, something that I prepared you guys, my everydayers out there. If you listen to last Friday's show, I told you, hey, this Tyler Boyd visit is happening. I think he is signing 100%. I tried to prepare you for this moment, and I'm glad that you're all with me here after the news actually breaks. Again, what an incredible signing for the Titans. The value, the fit, the player, absolutely fantastic. But more than anything, at some point you got to look at the entire wide receiver group and look at the transformation from last year. So looking at Tyler Boyd just as a player, again, 6'2", 200 pounds, has played in 120 games in his career, 77 starts, 753 catches, or 513 catches, 753 targets, 6,000 career yards, 31 touchdowns, and 302 of his 513 catches. 302 of his 513 catches are for first downs. This is a chain mover, and this is exactly what you wanted. Again, looking at the wide receiver group as a whole and how Tyler Boyd fits into it. You have DeAndre Hopkins as your big, physical wide receiver who can win down the field, who even when he's covered, he's not covered. Levis could throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins anytime, and I have faith that Hop is going to bring it down. Then, what the Titans desperately needed, and I'm going to talk about this more on tomorrow's show when I go over my best, worst, and underrated offseason moves. Now you have Calvin Ridley, who can get open and create separation with his speed at any time, which is what the Titans desperately needed after last year when I love DeAndre Hopkins, but he is not a separator, okay? So the Titans didn't have anybody who could separate consistently last year. And now they have Calvin Ridley, who is one of the fastest players in the league, one of the best route running wide receivers in the entire league, a separation maven. So you have your big physical X, you have your speed separator, and now you have your quick physical chain mover over the middle of the field. Let's go, man. What an incredible trio. You start to look around the NFL. Who's got a better trio of wide receivers? Who? You got to give the Texans their credit here. Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. That's pretty fire right there. No doubt that's pretty fire. But other than those three, the Titans are clearly the best in the division. Spare me the BTJ and the Gabe Davis talk. Get out of here with those guys. I'm not hearing about that. So, off the top of my head, just trying to think around the NFL, that's a pretty good group. That is a pretty good group right there. So, it's got to be one of the top 5, at least top 7 wide receiver trios in the NFL. To think that I'm saying that about the Tennessee Titans. Again, just love the fit of the big physical X and Hopkins, the speed Z and Ridley, the chain quick physical mover that Tyler Boyd can be. It's just fantastic. The Bears. Thank you, Will. The Bears probably at the top there with Odunze and DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. There are definitely other good groups. I'm not trying to say the Titans are the best by far. There are other good groups out there, which we could go into, but the Titans are near the top. And to think that after the Titans were near the bottom, the Titans were a bottom 5 wide receiver group last year, even with DeAndre Hopkins, bottom 5. To think that now the Titans might be a top 5 wide receiver trio in the NFL. The change overnight. We talk about how many things you can fix in the offseason. The Titans still need a young wide receiver, but for 2024 on its own, I mean, the Titans have solved this issue for this year. There is no concern with me about wide receiver. So going from a bottom 5 cornerback group and a bottom 5 wide receiver group to a top 5 wide receiver group and a top 5 cornerback group, this is crazy, man. It's just crazy what Ran Carthon has been able to do here. It's crazy. And now look, I feel like I've been hammering the guy, and I feel bad, but the reality is the reality here. Treylon Burks is about over. It's about done for Treylon Burks. They don't believe in him. Callahan could go on every radio station this side of the Mississippi and say that he believes in Treylon Burks. And that's what he should do. If he's a good coach, that's what he should do. But you don't make this move if you have belief in Treylon Burks. Because now you could say Tyler Boyd is a full-time slot. Okay, Treylon Burks isn't going to be a full-time slot. He could get some work in the slot and some work outside. Well, no matter how you slice this is less for Treylon Burks. Because if they were going to use Treylon Burks in the slot a little bit more, he just got less slot reps because Tyler Boyd's there now. If they were going to use Treylon Burks outside, he just got less outside snaps because Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins are going to stay outside more now because they have a full-time slot receiver in Tyler Boyd. So there is no way to color this where it's not a bad thing for Treylon Burks. And I'll tell you this too. If I had to make my roster predictions right now, who's going to make the final 53, I would be cutting Kyle Phillips. Kyle Phillips is going to be cut based on the way things look right now. Now, we'll get into camp and we'll get into training camp and we'll do OTAs and mandatory and all that stuff. And we'll give our final roster predictions when it's time. But right now, looks like Kyle Phillips is on the way out. And it looks like the Titans don't believe in Treylon Burks at all. And as I have said since the middle of the season last year, if you could trade Treylon Burks for anything, a 6th round pick or better, do it. Just go ahead and do it. Cut your losses. Admit the mistake. John Robinson blew the pooch in one of the worst trades of all time. Burks is an absolute bust, and move on. Move on. So I doubt the Titans could get a ham sandwich for Treylon Burks right now. But I don't even eat ham, and I would take it. Okay? So this move is great. I love this. As I said all season long, you operate as if Treylon Burks does not exist. And you go out and sign a big-time receiver. And you go out and sign a mid-tier receiver. And you draft a wide receiver. This is what the Titans should have done all along, and they're absolutely doing it. They are stacking out their offense. I could not be more excited about this. And again, it's not just Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd isn't some Hall of Fame level player that we should all lose our minds about. The Titans didn't just sign the best slot in the NFL, but it's about the collection of talent that the Titans have amassed at the wide receiver position after what we went through the last few years at the wide receiver position. That is why this is so incredible, because of the totality of the work that we have seen done from the Titans here. Love this. We're going to talk more about the fit here and what the Titans need to do next. Before we do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. All right, game off. We got to pause here to talk about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You've already talked about that, but there's just so much good stuff in this game. You can team up with your friends for timed tournaments in Monopoly Go, where you work together to build up each other's boards, and the more you win together, the more awesome prizes you can unlock. There's also unique stickers you can trade with your friends, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, and they have hilarious emojis that you can taunt your friends with when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like Digging for Treasure, Robot Pachinko. There's always new timed events to help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win. Rent frenzies, so much stuff. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go, so get off the bench and go download it now for free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Titans fans, let's cap off today's instant reaction to the Tyler Boyd signing. We talked about Tyler Boyd and the deal that it was, why it makes so much sense, the fit. We talked about how Tyler Boyd fits within the rest of the wide receiver group and how the Titans have now gone from one of the worst wide receiver groups in the NFL to one of the best wide receiver groups in the NFL. But now I want to talk about what the Titans need to do next. What's the next move for the Titans here after they secured Tyler Boyd? And it's obvious that they need to look at safety. But before I get into that, I do want to thank you guys again for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure you get subscribed, stay subscribed. There's a reason this is the number one Tennessee Titans podcast in the world. But with that being said, you got Tyler Boyd at slot receiver, and that kind of closes up that hole, all right? Now, there are spots on defense that the Titans must attack, okay? Look at it, safety number one. And we've talked about some safeties that make sense, okay? Justin Simmons is obviously the top name on the market, multiple-time All-Pro, multiple-time Pro Bowler. I think the Titans, with this Boyd deal being probably only $3 million on the cap, the Titans definitely still have cap space to get Justin Simmons. That's the right move to make. But I personally think that the favorite should be Marcus May. Okay, I think a team is going to pay up more than the Titans will for Justin Simmons. And I think the Titans ultimately bring in Marcus May, who was with Denard Wilson with the New York Jets in 2021, is a physical, versatile, blitzing style safety. So I think that May is probably the more likely option for the Titans, even if I admit that I would rather have Justin Simmons. I think that's completely fair. Simmons is a much better player. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I think Simmons is going to be a lot more expensive. And I think with the connection that Denard Wilson has with Marcus May, I think that makes a lot of sense. Outside of safety, you got to look at edge. All right, the Titans need another edge rusher here. I think there are some good names available. Carl Lawson. I don't think that Yannick Ngakoue is maybe as good of a fit, although I know that is a name that people have out. Emmanuel Ogbah is another pass rusher that, if healthy, could make some sense. Shaq Lawson. And I keep saying this. I know that I'm probably the number one hater of this player during his time with the Titans. But Bud Dupree. Look, paying Bud Dupree $18 million, major mistake. Major mistake, which I hated when it happened. Paying Bud Dupree veteran minimum to be just a part of your rotation as a physical edge setter against the run, and then you could bring in Arden Key as your designated pass rusher. Now we're talking about something that makes a lot of sense. Again, Bud Dupree, $18 million? No. Bud Dupree at a veteran minimum? Yes. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. So, again, Carl Lawson, Emmanuel Ogbah, Bud Dupree, those are kind of my top edge rushers that could be veterans that could come in and play in a rotation. So that would make sense. But obviously, I think safety is the much bigger need. I mean, at the end of the day, you could use a combination of Rashad Weaver and Arden Key to figure out that other edge rusher spot. You can't start Elijah Molden at safety. You can't. You can't do that. So, safety is the biggest need. By far the biggest need for the Titans. And as we said, Justin Simmons is the best player available. I think Marcus May has the connection and makes a ton of sense. So, whoa, man. What has happened here for the Titans? Tyler Boyd with DeAndre Hopkins, with Calvin Ridley. I mean, this is a pretty incredible move for the Titans when you combine it with everything else they've done. Tyler Boyd on his own, I know, 67 catches, 667 yards. It's not like he's setting the world on fire, but as a third wide receiver in this offense, in 11 personnel where Brian Callahan is constantly going to be using 3 wide receivers, you need your slot wide receiver to be a big physical guy who's willing to block, who can act as a pseudo tight end at times in certain packages and certain formations. And Tyler Boyd has already proven multiple years in a row that he can be that guy. So this doesn't change the Titans' long-term need for a wide receiver, but to get Tyler Boyd on a 1-year deal that's probably $3 million against the cap, man, let Ran Carthon cook, baby. Now we get safety. Maybe add a veteran edge rusher, and the Titans have pretty much cleaned up, every roster hole that we're worried about. So on tomorrow's show, I'm going to do my best and worst and most underrated offseason moves in free agency and in the draft. The next day, we're going to hear from Brian Callahan. We're going to hear from Will Levis. We're going to hear from some assistant coaches. Going to go over what they have to say as well. Probably do a special 6th episode to finally get to your mailbag questions. I've been wanting to do the mailbag, but we keep getting huge news after huge news. And I got to do the big news more than mailbag questions. That's just what people deserve. And then next week, Titans have rookie minicamp over the weekend. The schedule is going to drop next week. And then the week after that, I'm going to do a full breakdown of the entire roster as things stand. So, man, what a great time to be a Tennessee Titans fan. What a great time to be a fan of Locked On Titans. The constant content coming your way at all times. You're not going to beat it anywhere else. Make sure that you get subscribed. Make sure that you stay subscribed. Throw a thumbs up on the video as well. But that's going to do it for this live reaction to the Tyler Boyd signing. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.